Yeah, it's a little more like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't do that, but you did it perfectly. I think all of our listeners are like, yes, I know.
Yeah.
What you're talking about
Yeah.
Welcome once again to Chill Filtered, the podcast where we drink whiskey so you don't have to. But you probably should, and you probably are. And that's why we like you. That's why we gosh darn tootin' like you. This week's going to be great. We got, it's episode 293, believe it or not. We're closing in on that 300, believe it or not. 6 years coming right up. That's crazy. But before we get into anything, before we even talk about the whiskey we're drinking today, let's talk about some business. Hey, here's some business. Tell a friend about Chill Filtered. We are not like the type of podcast that's going to be like buying advertisement space or like doing like faking followers on Instagram. We're just not that podcast. Not that some other ones are, but I do know that's a way to like get followers. It's like pay that kind of stuff. It's not that we're not willing to pay. It's just, that's not who we are. We like the people that, that love us and we hate the people that hate us. No, I'm kidding. But word of mouth has been really actually very important for our podcast over the years. And so I know it's not the best or the fastest way people can follow us, but hey, tell a friend, hey, have you heard about, especially if they're into whiskey, be like, hey, you should check out this cool podcast. I know these guys, they're dope. So
that's exactly what happened with me.
You do know us. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, you look at like Caleb Olson, that was word of mouth. Like, Ben Klepsik was basically word of mouth. Yeah.
Nice. Shout out to Brandon Chamness. And I forgot to say he was at the distillery tour too when we did
No way. Stills. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, he came too.
Shout out to Brandon Chamness. When I think about a really good beard, he's got a really good beard.
Oh yeah, it's luxurious.
It is. It's like
luscious.
It is full. And there's no gaps. There's like nothing.
Yeah.
He's just got a nice beard.
What is it? I got something over here.
Yeah,
that's
patches.
Just never going to grow in over there. Yeah.
He's patchless McGraw over there. He's the immaculate beard man. So shout out to Brandon Chamness. Yeah. So that's one of the best ways you can do business today. And that might very well have been the longest business we've ever done.
Nice.
But let's get into the podcast. Bryan, what are you entry buzzing on and how are you doing?
Yeah. Well, I'm good. Easy question first. I'm good. I've been busy this week. I've been busy because Fry's has been doing their annual Pappy and BTEC lotteries.
Yeah.
And so you got to go into the store, a particular store in a particular part of town within a 2-hour window. And then you got to drop your ticket in there for the raffle. So I've been like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, driving all over town to get out and drop a ticket in. And so far, no luck for me, but shout out to the in-laws. Jim. Actually, no, Patty was the one who had the win.
Hey, that's
ticket.
what I figured. I was like, was it Jim or
I doubt it.
Like, it just would sound too good. Yeah.
Right. So they did draw Patty, my mother-in-law, for Thomas H. Handy. So they picked up one of those, and I was like, you guys, you earned it, man. If you want it, and they were like, no, we want you to have it. So
that's how I feel sometimes. It's like, if you want it, you can like hold on to it. But
I know. Yeah, if you want it, you keep it. But every time I come down,
yeah, when people win, when I don't mention that I listed them in the lottery for ABC, I'll be like, but if you really, really want it, you can have it.
I think you had a scenario like that last time, or maybe it was two times ago. I don't remember, but somebody won, and you were like, I think he might want it, but I don't know. We'll see.
And he didn't. It turned out, yeah,
nice, good,
which was great. He was like, no, I'm happy to get it for you. So I'm like, thank God. That's cool.
Yeah. So that was going on. Theirs was on Tuesday in Tucson, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all here in Phoenix, and then now.
No dice for any of them for you.
No dice, and even Bryan. Yeah, Bryan, David, none of them won. A buddy Sean though, Sean got a Thomas H. Handy too.
Nice.
But he's the only one I know other than the in-laws and Sean are the only people I know who actually got drawn for anything. And I'm starting to doubt my statistics. I calculated a bunch of statistics. You know, it's like it's not like it was going to be likely. It's just it's a lot more likely than a normal raffle due to the sheer number of bottles that they're drawing for. They're drawn for 40 to 46 bottles every time. And you know, with our group size, there's 3 or 4 of us going in, and it's still not like it's likely we're going to get drawn. So I get my hopes up a little too much.
What distribution did you use?
I don't even know how to answer that.
That's cool. Well, yeah, I mean, like, so what I do with like the ABC lotteries is I take my amount of entries and put it in a binomial distribution, which is not exactly perfect because technically it's like I think it's a negative binomial distribution, which you could get the probability of you or one of the entries being drawn or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you could do you could even do certain statistics saying what is the probability that I get at least one bottle, as opposed to technically the opposite, or the complement of that would be getting 0 bottles.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of statistics, stuff I learned early on in my career. But
yeah, well, we can geek out about statistics for just a minute here, and you can tell me if I'm totally wrong, because
no, bring it on.
I'm not. I dabble.
Yeah.
So what I was doing was to say there's 500 entries. So I would. And if there's 46 bottles, I would just say, you know, there's a 499 out of 500 chance that I'm not going to get drawn. And then there's a 498 out of 499 chance that I'm not going to get drawn. And all of those, you know, 99.5, 99.4, all of those drawings that are essentially happening, I'm multiplying all those fractions together for my total. This is the odds that I'm not going to get drawn out after 46 attempts. And then I invert it. And so that's the chance that I might get drawn for 1. And that's the extent of my statistics knowledge.
No, that's actually pretty good. No, that's the way to do it. There is actually a simplified equation for that, though. To run that, it would be based on permutations and basically a combination, not a permutation.
Yeah.
But you're on your way. And next time you could just throw in, I think it's negative binomial distribution, and then you can say what is the probability that I get 0, or you know, whatever it is, and then but technically, when you get into high numbers, using a binomial distribution might be even just quicker to calculate, which is basically, and you could throw that in Excel like that. But basically, a binomial is different from that because binomial considers that it's with replacement. But when you get into the high numbers, where they have like 40 bottles and 500 entries, so you could just say 40 divided by 500, even though that's not exactly correct. Yours was more correct. But a binomial distribution, technically the lotteries in Virginia are much more suited for a binomial distribution. People are dropping off like flies on this. But anyway, my entries go along with like 20 to 30,000 people. So might be a little better for what I'm doing. But you actually did it more perfectly. That being said, listeners, we're gonna get off the math topic.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry you didn't win anything. But maybe didn't you get called back last year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, last year I got called back for Eagle 17. Yeah. But you asked me what I'm entry buzzing on, and I have a fun story about that. So Brian, David, and I went to the raffle downtown, and while we were down there, there's this kind of legendary place called Star Liquor that's in downtown Phoenix.
I've been there.
And you've been there, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I got a Weller Special Reserve there, as well as I believe it was a barrel pick of a Four Roses single barrel strength there.
Nice.
It was my first ever of that. Yeah.
Nice.
No, it wasn't my first. It was one of my first, but not.
The guy who owns the place runs the biggest like bourbon Facebook group for Phoenix.
Don't tell me his name. It's Asian guy, right?
Yeah.
Oh crap, I'm forgetting his name. But yeah, I met him. Yeah.
Kang. He's
Kang,
anyway, just great picks and everything. Great store. So repping them a little bit. But
do it.
We stopped by Star after the raffle just to kind of see what was there. And we were picking around the bottles, and Brian goes, "Oh, hey, look, it's a New Zealand single malt over there."
No way.
And so I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. I've got a few of those, that I like Jim and Patty grabbed me one last time they were in New Zealand and everything. And so I pick up the bottle and I'm like looking at it and here I got the box for it here. So I just happened to notice it's got a distilled date on there. So it's got this distilled date that you're definitely not going to be able to see on the video here, but take my word for it that it says 3/5/19. And I'm like, oh, dang. Okay. Sam and I, wait, your sister's birthday?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Well, not her, like literally, like she was born in 89, but it was her 30th birthday.
Yeah. Right. So 2019 though, I'm like, that struck a chord here. Sam and I were in New Zealand in 2019.
Oh, that's so cool. During that
I'm
month?
like, wait a minute. Yeah, we were in New Zealand in March of 2019. Nice. So I dig up my location.
No
history.
way.
I dig up my location history on Google Maps. 2019, I was not into whiskey at all. That was just barely pre-whiskey time.
I didn't know it was that short.
Yeah, 2020 COVID. That was when the whiskey interest started.
Really? That's so cool.
So anyway, 2019, I pull up my location history. Sure enough, I find where Pocono, I'm just assuming I'm saying the right, Pocono. This distillery is right here in this little town of Pocono. Yeah, named after the town.
So cool.
So on that day, on March 5th, 2019, we literally drove through Pocono and we're like right next to this distillery.
That's just so cool.
Drove right by it. And so I'm like, I have to buy this. No question. I'm buying this. I get home and I'm excitedly telling Sam this story. I was like, oh my gosh, and you wouldn't believe it. The date on there, we were right there. It was March 5th. And then I freeze. And I'm like, oh no. In New Zealand, they switch the day and the month. They write it as
so it was 5/3,
the 3rd of May.
That's
and
funny.
So I'm standing there and I'm like, crap. And then I'm like,
that's so
if I'd had that realization in the store, I would have bought it anyway. I think
that's cool.
It's 2019. We were right there. So anyway. So yeah, this was distilled on the 3rd of May of 2019. So
that's
close,
funny.
Close.
You can pretend it wasn't.
Yeah, I know, right? I can pretend, but I'll always know it'll just irritate me in the back of my mind.
So is that what you're entry buzzing on?
That is what I'm entry buzzing on.
Is it good?
Yeah. It's pretty good. It is. I mean, it is spicy.
Really?
Not okay. I used the wrong word.
New Zealand summers.
Yeah, I meant spicy in like it is. It hits you like it's fiery. It is
nice. Those warm New Zealand summers.
Yeah, right.
What's the proof?
So it's 56%. So it's 112. Nice. It's a single barrel non-chill filtered single barrel strength. It is double bourbon cask, so it's essentially double oaked too.
Yeah,
but yeah, cool. It is. It's got big honey, big sweetness, and it's got some fruit in there too, like a stone fruit kind of. But you can taste the youth on it. The age statement's only 3 years, but it's good. It's a fun buy.
Nah, that's cool.
So what about you? What are you drinking?
I don't even know what I'm drinking, but I will explain what I'm drinking real quick. So this is actually really good. Let me tell you about it before I reveal what it is. First of all, this was from my secret sampler this year from Brian Duncan. Shout out to that baller. And this was the final pour of my 2 sets of, we had like the entry buzz, we had the strange, we had the trustworthy or trusty one, and then we had the show off one. This is my show off of round B of the 2, ones. And I'll tell you what I think it is. It's definitely, I mean, I would bet a lot of money, not a lot of money, but I would bet $20. This is a sherry finished Scotch, a Highland Scotch at that. Or, potentially Speyside, but it's basically Highland. Very good. I would say this is like, this reminds me of Glendronach 18, not the 21, the 18. And I prefer the 18. It's not overwhelmingly rich. It is really well balanced. And so we'll reveal it right now and we'll figure out what it is. Because he did a great job making it, each one. And the last one, I was close, man. I was close. but I got it right. It is a sherry, or no, it's a port finish. So I wasn't wrong. I would have lost money. It is a port finished Balvenie 21. Thank you, Brian Duncan. What a baller! Because that is a show off pour. 21-year-old Highland Scotch, technically a Dufftown, right? They're Dufftowns.
No idea. I got Google Maps up though. You want me to look?
Yeah, it is a Dufftown. I just looked it up, or I just saw it. But either way, it's basically a Highland. So thank you, Brian. This is actually a fantastic pour. So what a baller!
Nice.
How am I doing? On the other hand, sucky. No, I'm kidding. This is so good. Yeah, life's good. Nothing crazy this week. I had to take Thursday half day and a Friday full day because on Thursday, Beck got bonked in the head pretty hard. As we call it, the bonkening.
Yeah.
And not pretty hard. She just got bonked in the head and kind of took it rough and was like, I want to go home. And she's 2. So we're like, all right, we'll take you home. So my wife picked her up. And then Heather was at work, so she wasn't getting much done. And I was like, technically, I have the sick or PTO time that I could use. So I took her for the half day. And then Friday morning, she had like a seal bark cough, like the like very dry and like you're sick when you have that cough. The impression I gave wasn't good enough. Like, what a seal bark cough is.
It's a little more like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't do that, but you did it perfectly. I think all of our listeners are like, yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually a seal in real life. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm a sea lion. Do you know the difference? It's pretty cool.
No.
So I mean, basically, the seals or the animals that you see in like those shows and stuff, and like they're like balancing things on their nose and stuff.
Yeah.
Those are sea lions, and sea lions are very. Whiskers? Yeah, they got the whiskers.
That's how they balance.
I think seals do too. But sea lions are much more capable on land. Like they can prop themselves up really easily, and they're maneuverable. Seals, on the other hand, listeners are dropping off like flies at this point.
What even is
this? Seals are very maneuverable underwater, but they hop on land. Like they're like like barely making it by. So when you see one that's interacting on land, it's likely a sea lion.
Yeah.
So that's how you know.
Nice.
And lessons that's with cool. Cole.
No idea.
So anyway, life's good. She had a little seal cough. Might have been a sea lion cough. You never know.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, things are good. I'm studying for my exam, and I have been for the past 2 months, but just thinking about that. And my exam is in May 1st.
Okay.
So in April, just be careful.
Yeah, right. He'll pick a fight with you.
Yeah, I might pick a fight with you. Yep. So, otherwise things are good. I am happy for you getting that. And I don't want you to be like, so, okay, when I saw you won the Thomas H. or you by proxy won the Thomas H. Handy.
Right.
I was like, why can't I find anything like that? But the fact is that, Virginia ABC puts out their lottery in a few months from now, normally for the last year's antique collection. And sometimes I do win. But I used to win a lot more. And now I'm like, why can't I do this anymore? I'm not even a whiskey fanatic.
The response that I got from Cole was a child in an elevator throwing a tantrum.
Yeah, exactly. And then he sent back a picture of Sully and Boo from Monsters, Inc. and Sully giving her a hug.
Just a big cuddly big
cuddly hug. And I needed that. So, but 'tis the season for getting cool bottles like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing crazy. I mean, the funny thing is that like Friday, we're recording on Saturday, a little late this week, but Friday yesterday, Beck was, off school because she had the seal bark cough, but she like was fine within an hour of waking up. Like she was just like fine. So we went to Waffle House together, and I was like, I've never done that with her, nor have I done that in years to go to Waffle House.
Yeah.
But I went to Waffle House. It's cheap. It's awesome. Daddy-daughter time. It was great.
Perfect.
And then we went up to Richmond, and we went to a place in Richmond called Carytown, which is a really nice area of It's got like nice shops and kind of a nice little street where you can, there was like a nice record store, a nice toy gift shop, and stuff like that. So we bought her a book and got mommy a Valentine's gift and card, and then went home, had a nap and I studied during the nap. And then after the nap, what did we do? We went to we went out. Oh no, we went on a walk in the woods. We took like an hour and just walked in the woods, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
And then and she found, so there's this one guy in our neighborhood who like hides coins, especially pennies, of course, on the block. And he's been doing it for years, apparently.
Just for fun for kids?
Awesome for Beck. Beck is just so stoked to find a penny. And so, and it's like in the dirt and like in the rocks and stuff. But I'm like, I found a penny. And she like, she thinks she found the penny herself. But I'm like, oh, you found 21 pennies today. Literally, we found 21 pennies yesterday.
Dang.
And so this girl is really good at finding pennies by her dad's vision.
She's rich.
Yeah, seriously. So, prep your minds. She's going to invest and they get big. So, so we had a fun day yesterday.
Nice.
And then today we're just chilling and drinking bourbon.
Yeah. So, Saturday morning. It is a dreary Saturday morning in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Right now. Yeah.
Oh, is it? That's funny.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's supposed to rain today, but it's like 60 degrees already. So it's nice.
Yeah.
What's I heard the temp out there? Is it starting to get hot?
It is 42 right now.
Oh, what?
It was starting to get hot, but
Did
this
it freeze yet?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There was a period of time, I don't remember when, maybe probably December or something, where there was like a whole week where when we'd wake up, it was 31.
Wow.
I think it might have been
crazy
20.
For Phoenix.
Right? Yeah.
I remember my first year there, they were like, people were freaking out. They're like, it might be freezing, like keep your water running and like all the like drip your faucets and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, wow, like they can't handle that. But then literally that night that they were all worried about, it tangentially touched freezing and then went up. Like it didn't even break below 32 degrees, but it touched 32 degrees and then it moved on.
Yeah. It's in that weird time of year now where like it seemed like it was hot. We had highs of 76, I think, even close to 80. And it was like, all right, spring is here. But then there's always like one last like, nope, we're near freezing again. So end of February maybe is when it'll finally start to take off. We've had like covers over some of our more sensitive like trees and plants in the backyard all winter. So we made the mistake last year. Say again?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
We made the mistake last year where we took the covers off too early and then it froze one last time and it like screwed up some of our stuff in the backyard. So
what do you got?
Not making that mistake again this year. Waiting until March for sure.
What do you got in the backyard?
Oh, plumeria trees. That's kind of the number one. It's like it's a Hawaiian tropical, very
cool.
I think probably Sam's like number one or number two favorite like tropical plant.
Oh, that's
very cool. Very pretty, kind of like a even like quarter size, probably even bigger than a quarter, like an inch or more, cylindrical stalk that comes all the way up, and then boom, like an explosion of these big leafy flowers out of the top. Then it's got really pretty like 5 leaf, like in a star pattern, like a kind of slightly overlapping star pattern 5-leaf flower that comes out, and they can be pink and they can be yellow, and it's very, very, very pretty. Those are the flowers, those plumeria flowers that like when you see a Hawaiian lady with flowers in her hair. Like,
totally.
Those are plumeria flowers.
Like lei flowers?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Totally.
That's cool. Any fruit trees?
No, we gave up on trying to do citrus. You gotta put work more. We're like low maintenance, can't trust ourselves to put in the work.
That's good to know, because that's probably why my orange tree was doing so poorly in the side yard, because I just thought I just water it.
Yeah, apparently I need to. I mean, I'm sure it'll fruit a little bit anyway, but if you fertilize it and give it the nutrients that it needs, that's when it'll explode and give you tons of fruit and stuff. But we just couldn't be trusted to keep ourselves to a schedule where we got to remember to fertilize it and blah, blah, blah. So we were like done with that.
I had a coworker and we were good friends. he had the biggest trees in his yard. Like I'm talking like 50-foot trees.
Dang.
And
which is insane for
like
Arizona,
all citrus,
by the way.
He had everything. Yeah. He had everything from sumo oranges to red oranges or blood oranges to these lemons that were this big, like just crazy stuff. And he had grapefruit. I mean, he had every citrus thing you can imagine. I don't think he had limes though, but like every type of orange, every type of lemon. And he would be like, yeah, I don't know what to do with them. Just pick them up if you want them. Like he would just be like, yeah, just come to my yard and just take as many as you want. He had like one of those picker things.
Yeah, classic trope where like people will bring in buckets of lemons and limes to work and just be like, please take these.
Take them, please. And so I did. You ever heard of oleosaccharum?
No.
It's like you take the peels of these citrus plants, whether it be grapefruit or I liked lemons especially. You take the peels and then you add sugar to a jar and throw them in there. And then what happens is that for some reason, there's oil and there's water in each peel.
Of course.
And it gets very, like when you add sugar to it, it sucks in the sugar, but it also, what's the word? What do you call it? Emulsifies it. So that the oil and the water like chill together. So like you're not just dealing with like a separated mixture. For some reason, it like combines the water and the oil.
Yeah.
And
there it is. There it is.
Trying to mute myself, but couldn't get there in time. But it's super cool, and you can use it in cocktails, and it's like really good for like an old fashioned stuff.
So it's
like
basically like a simple syrup, then, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. That's cool. Oh, another one. Maybe another one. Oh, he muted.
That one I was able to mute for. Another sneeze. So I think we're going long on time here.
Yeah,
but let's. Do you have anything else you want to talk about before we get into?
No, just love Chill Filtered, the podcast where we talk about everything from statistics to sea lions.
Yep. Yeah, sea lion. Like Cole gets really into it. And then oleosaccharum as well.
Yeah, right. Totally.
Mm-hmm. I'm almost finished this 2-ounce pour of Balvenie 21 already, so it's gonna be good. So let's go to break and we'll be right back. We'll talk about what we're drinking today, which we haven't mentioned yet. We're drinking Barrell Foundation Bourbon. So we'll be right back after this short break. And we're back. So we got some history today. We're drinking, Barrell Foundation Bourbon. Some quick notes to get to. Shout out to Ben Klepsig. Ben was able to send us some awesome, like very special samples this week, like very unique stuff, which we're stoked about. We either might do episodes on it, or maybe they'll be part of the Reentry Buzz series. Ooh. Who knows? Only time and statistics can tell. But anyway, what a baller. So this technically, we're drinking Barrell Foundation Bourbon. This is, believe it or not, our 4th episode on a Barrell product. We did actually 2 drink-alongs for Stellum, which is technically a Barrell product. They're connected at least. But this is our 4th episode. That's Barrell with 2 L's. Episode 201, we drank the Silver Label Seagrass 16-year. That specific one was 130.82 proof. Episode 214, we drank the 2022 New Year bourbon. I think you might have you did? Okay.
Pretty sure I did. I had that, and because Robbie got a sweet bubblegum note off that, and it blew my mind. Cool. Cool. Like Robbie's bubblegum note made me appreciate that so much more after I shared it with you guys.
So cool. And then I guess only not too long. So there was 13 episodes between the first 2 episodes, and then there was 15 episodes where we drank Armida Batch 5, which I believe you sent as well.
That also sounds familiar, yeah.
Okay, cool. Gonna go over some basic history today. So yeah, we're drinking Barrell Craft Spirits product. Originally started by a guy named Joe Beatrice in 2013 in Louisville, Kentucky. He had originally started a marketing company called Blue Dingo Digital in the 90s, kind of in that tech boom. And what do they call it? .com boom or whatever? I don't even know.
.com bubble? Yeah,
Bubble? I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way, he did pretty well with it. In the early 2010s, he decided to move on and start a whiskey company. And he was a home brewer on the side and was especially inspired when he had an experience where he tasted bourbon right from a barrel.
Ooh.
But did he start a distillery? Not exactly. He has always been, though, very transparent about sourcing. So he's not exactly a distillery. It's a spirit company where he sources pretty much everything. And I don't even think he's intending to create anything of his own. His style is to blend and maybe do some single barrels. But anyway, he doesn't just source. He goes the extra step and blends a lot of what he sources. Really special and exceptional barrels, and he bottles them at cask strength. Though not all barrel products are blended. Like I said, some are single barrels, but until now, everything they did was cask strength. But I'll get into that soon. He hired a guy named Trip Stimson, who had experience as the master distiller at Kentucky Artisan Distillery. Think of Jefferson's Bourbon for that. And he actually, before that, had worked at Brown-Forman for 9 years. Their standard product, which is in batches, is their cask strength bourbon. According to their website, they're up to batch 35, just about to release batch 36 soon. For rye, they're up to batch 4, and they have a whiskey as well, which is normally a blend of bourbon and rye, and that's up to batch 5. But they have some other options. They also do rum and what's called an American vatted malt, which they have historically sourced partially from Whiskey Del Bach in times past, which is kind of cool.
Nice.
They have their Armida bourbon, which is bourbon finished in pear brandy, Jamaican rum, and Sicilian Amaro cask. We've drank that. They also have something called an infinite barrel project, kind of an infinity barrel. We've talked about that in the past. They have 19 batches so far of that.
Oh, wow.
Seagrass is a rye finished separately in Martinique rum, Madeira, and apricot brandy barrels. Love that barrel.
Love it.
Especially the silver label one.
Oh, yeah.
Dovetail is a bourbon finished in Dunn Vineyards Cabernet cask, late bottled vintage port pipes, and blackstrap molasses rum casks. Vantage was a blend of straight bourbons finished in Mizunara oak, French oak, and toasted American oak. But what we're drinking today is very special from Barrell because it is their first non-cask strength release. So we're drinking Foundation from Barrell. It's a bourbon. The blend components are this: 8-year Kentucky bourbon, 5, 6, and 9-year Indiana bourbon, 8-year Tennessee bourbon, and 5 and 6-year Maryland bourbon. The mash bill overall, considering everything, goes 73% corn, 23% rye, and 4% malted barley. Exactly 100 proof and 5-year minimum, 5 to 9, but it's 5-year minimum. The website mentions, quote, "Your old fashions will never be the same," nice. Unquote. So this is reasonably priced, at least for a barrel product, and meant for enjoying neat or for mixing. So total wine price, at least on Barrell's website, it is $55 retail. But reminder to listeners, we haven't actually mentioned this yet, but we've been supplied this sample from Barrell Craft Spirits, and we're going to be honest about it. We're not afraid to be honest. So let's pour this out for the homies, and we'll get into drinking it. I've seen some good reviews. I didn't dig into them too much, especially for notes.
Yeah.
But I hope that we will too have a good experience with this. I think we
purdy Glencairn today, real purdy.
Ooh, give it the old spin J, the old mat job. Yeah.
Shout out to Dramhound and Trampup. Dramhound, if you're out there, let us know you're okay. I haven't heard.
Yeah, we're worried about you, Dramhound.
Yeah, like legitimately.
Yeah, like the last we heard of him, he was like COVID with the whole family, and then we never hear him again. So like, exactly. Dramhound, please hit us up. We love you.
Right. We will send a wellness check to your house if we don't hear
Yes,
from you.
if we need, I know his address, so. Nice, red hot cinnamon note
Ooh.
off the front, like the very front of the nose.
Yeah, I
But
like
it
that.
smooths into a nice oakiness as well.
But it's a faint cinnamon. It's
Yeah,
like it's
it's
enough.
not like a rye, like a Willet 7-year rye cinnamon.
Yeah, it's not dominating, but it's there to be a nice little spice on top of the brown sugar classic bourbon notes I'm getting.
It's very tasty. I mean, not tasty. It's very good smelling. Good
Nose
smelling all
tasty.
day.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be tasty. We'll find out. But this is,
I'm getting a little grainy, like a rye grainy.
yeah, I can see some definitely. I mean, it's what did I say? It was 23% rye. That's definitely high rye,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What does high rye begin?
So honestly, I think people even call high rye when it's at like 15, 18%.
I agree with that. Yeah.
I don't think it takes a lot to get high rye. So when I see a rye in the 20s or so, that piques my interest because I'm
I mean,
like,
that's like Four Roses higher rye is like 25 or something like that,
yeah,
right?
Four
Yeah.
Roses is
And they're
like
high rye.
the recipes with the OEs and the OBs,
Yeah.
like the lower rye is still pretty high, and then the high
Yeah.
rye is like through the
Oh,
roof.
I think it's like 25, 35 or something like that. I want to
I
say.
wish I could remember. It's like
Yeah.
I'll remember
Oh.
here in about an hour. Just put me on the spot. I can't remember.
It doesn't
Oh,
give percentages.
he's got the bottle.
Oh, no. OB is 35. I don't know what
30.
OE is though, but I know it's less.
Yeah, I think it's 20, 25. That sounds about right.
Good nose.
Definitely
Oaky,
digging
but not as stringently oaky on the nose. It's not too dryish. Not too sweet on the nose though, but it is sweet. There's a little bit of sweetness there. Ryan just went for a sip, and I'm about to go for one myself.
Yeah, the palate is great. I think my proofometer would peg this over 100 because normally
Oh
when
wow.
I mean, generally I like higher proof stuff, and when I drink 100 proof something, usually I'm like, yeah, they all kind of get lost in the noise. But the spice on this one, the like little red hot cinnamon really comes through, and there's some good buttery brown sugar in here. I really like.
Buttery is a good note, especially with the I'm glad this is good. I always hate it when we're sent something and be like, this sucks.
I know.
And like it's only happened a few times. Shout out to Bespoken Spirits. Sorry, I don't want to be rude. It sounds really mean, but I did not like that one that much. But I think that for a 5-year bourbon, this is killing it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I
This is
forgot it
like
was only
100
5
proof
years.
10-year maybe kind of
I would have
status.
guessed. I would have guessed 7 to 9.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least. Yeah, this is very good. Yeah. Notes of a little bit of cinnamon, but like pleasantly balanced with a butteriness. I don't know about the
Ooh.
brown sugar as much. There's
On
definitely
the
brown
palate.
sugar as
Yeah.
opposed to like white sugar. Really well balanced bourbon though. Like this is kind of a bourbon that hits all the notes. Maybe not like hitting all the notes to a 10 or 11, but hits all the notes and is a beautiful sweet. Like I said, that red hot cinnamon. It's not predominantly cinnamon, but it has that sweetness that balances it with that too. So
Yeah, it's like I guess I would kind of maybe say that cinnamon is dominant for me, but it's not dominant in that it's like 80% cinnamon, 20% buttery brown sugar. It's like it's all pretty even with the cinnamon being just like slightly the most pronounced thing for me.
What do you think of this as like a cocktail bourbon?
Honestly, for me, this is gonna come in because I want some proofy old fashions.
Oh,
If I'm putting an ice cube in there, I want it to be able to stand up to it a little bit. Oh, you know what? I bet this would make a sweet whiskey sour though. Because I bet that little bit of
spice.
Yeah, a little bit of spice would come through. So I think like for me, I guess if I made an old fashioned with it, I wouldn't put an ice cube in there at all, and I would just kind of drink it a little lukewarm. But the as a crushable whiskey sour, I could totally see
this is it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about it. And it's good neat. Like, don't get me wrong.
Oh no, I like it.
We're judging this on neat, but it's good.
The As our resident Eagle Rare expert, how do you think this stands up to a mellow, lower proof Buffalo Trace product?
That's a good question. So what I get from a Buffalo Trace product is typically like very sweet, appley, oaky, but not too oaky at all. This has the oak, especially for like an Eagle Rare. Like if we're comparing it to just Eagle Rare, it has the age. What I mean by that is like I'll sometimes drink Buffalo Trace and be like, this isn't like, I love Buffalo Trace, don't get me wrong, but I compared it recently. I did not a blind, but I did a comparison between that and Eagle Rare, and I realized how different the ages really affect. Like it's like 6 to 7 or so for a Buffalo Trace, and then it's 10 for Eagle Rare. It is noticeable to me, and I never saw that before until recently.
In terms of oakiness?
In terms of youth, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
And Buffalo Trace is fantastic for me, but has pronounced youth when compared to an Eagle Rare. Now, on the other hand, Eagle Rare, like, okay, so what I'll say about that with Barrell Foundation is that Barrell Foundation lacks all the youth. Like this is not a 5-year in my book, and 5-year is decently aged. It's nothing too small. It's not like a 3-year. But the fact that I can say Buffalo Trace has a youth to it compared to Eagle Rare, basically this has no youth. It is well aged at 5 years, or it's 5 to 9. But I'm very impressed with this one.
Yeah, I dropped some water. I nosed it a bit, and didn't get as much spice off the nose like I remember. But
this is great nose.
But then I sipped it, and it still has all of the red hots.
Good.
Again, light red hots, not destroy your mouth red hots. But it still has all the spice that it had neat after I watered it down a little bit. So that almost makes me think maybe my just assumption that I wouldn't like it as much in an old fashioned, that challenges that a little bit. Because if it's going to water down but retain all that spice, that's pretty good in my book.
This is just as good, if not better, with water to me.
God, I wonder how this blend would be at cask strength, though.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
know.
it'd be too spicy.
It might. Yeah. I mean, barrel products, they can get up there.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're usually 130s.
Yeah, exactly. This is impressive. I'll say that. For a 50, would you easily pay $55? Absolutely. For me, absolutely. I would pay $55 for this. This is a really, really good barrel product.
Yeah. And they did supply us with enough that we were able to pour a little sample bottle to put in our
reentry buzz.
Yeah, reentry buzz pool has one of these in there now. And obviously time will tell how I will evaluate it completely blind, having no idea. Exactly. But I'd love to think, I mean, if I sipped this on a reentry buzz, having no idea what it was, if I'm guessing age, I'm easily guessing 7 on this. Yeah. Easily 7.
Totally. Absolutely. No doubt. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. With water, it's still good, which is hard to do with a bourbon.
Yeah.
I wonder what ice will do this.
Cuts the spice away usually with the water.
There is more caramel to the palate and a little bit on the nose too, with a water pour.
Yeah. Going ice though. I got a little more for some ice here. Mr. Bus Driver backed up a cube for me.
Yep. Bring it on, bus driver. Oh,
crap. Matt Porter dropped a little ice cube in here for me.
Yeah. All right, let's find another cube. This bus driver. This guy's Matt Porter right here. Old Matt Porter before he killing it on YouTube.
I think I'm tricking myself with something I said earlier here.
What's that?
But on the nose, I'm smelling bubblegum. I'm smelling bubblegum on the nose with ice.
Not too much for me. Oakiness shows up a little more on the nose with the ice.
Actually, it's
oakiness, not as pleasant with ice on the nose. It's the oakiness good. It
shows up way more on the palate with ice. Actually,
you said what?
I think when you sip, you'll see that oakiness shows up way more on the palate too. And it's kind of a bitter oakiness. It's kind of a bitter.
Yeah, it's not the best pour.
Woody.
It's the least of the pours.
Yeah. I'm not getting any cinnamon anymore. But
it's kind of dry.
It's still buttery though. Yeah.
Yeah. It's sweet up front, and then it kind of fades to a kind of astringent, drying oak. Buttery is throughout though. Yeah, I get behind that.
Yeah. A lot of woody oak on the palate with ice. And I swallowed my ice.
Not my pour though.
Yeah.
Still good. Just not my pour.
Yeah. Actually, and water.
Yeah, it's pushing it. But we don't judge based on the worst of the pours.
That's true. God, can you imagine if we did?
Oh man.
Chill Filter, the podcast where we just crap all over everything because it's not good with ice.
Yeah, because most whiskey is not better with ice, in my opinion. I would say the high majority would be not better with ice.
Yeah. So water and neat were pretty interchangeable to me. Probably neat just a little bit more. But yeah, good that it stood up pretty well to the neat pour. Yeah.
I have a score for this. Do you have a score?
I do. My vacuum in the hallway behind me just fired up, so I'm attempting to pause that real quickly. Whatever.
That's funny.
All right.
Did it work?
No, it didn't work because this app is just amazing and works very, very well.
I thought you meant that Sam was like vacuuming the hallway or something like that.
I have every day at like 11 a.m. the vacuum fires up and cleans around the litter boxes and stuff. So
that's good news.
Enough of that though. Score.
Okay, I'm gonna go 9.15.
Oh wow!
I think this is great.
This for a
$55 bourbon. It's got a lot going on. It's nice, sweet, nice buttery, nice cinnamon, but not too cinnamon. Like it's like light cinnamon, but it's beautiful. Really well-developed sweetness that goes along with everything. Really impressed by Barrell with this. Everything they do is pretty great. But yeah, I'm gonna go 9.15, which is high praise for a $55 bottle.
Yeah.
Oh, and then my secondary scale.
Yeah. If you want to pull that up and think about it real quick.
I'm gonna give this A.
Yeah.
Almost an A+, but an A.
Yeah. That's where I'm at too. Just taking into consideration what this is. This is a $55 100 proof whiskey. Yep. And this is one of my favorite $55 100 proof whiskeys I've ever had. I think that this is extremely solid. I think it clearly stands out. I think that in who is the competitor to this, I think that this is the one that I would reach for if I was at the store and I wanted a 100 proof bourbon. Anyway, so yeah, A for me too. I think they did a really good job with this. And I mean, if I was to put a numerical score to it, for 100 proof, this how about what? I'll give it a 9.0. Yeah, this exceeded my expectations for what I thought I was about to drink today.
I'm with you. All right. Now that we've rated it, let's get on to our next segment of the show that we like to call Whiskey World News.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the Whiskey World News segment, and today this is exciting. This is news. You want to tune into this?
You gotta.
Yeah, if you got a little extra cash burning a hole in your pocket, this is where it's going. Because today or the other day, we got an email from Sazerac, and in their press release here, they're saying that the Sazerac Barrell Select, they are offering a barrel of Blanton's Gold for charity. The proceeds, they benefit St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital.
Ayo.
And so for the first time, Sazerac Barrell Select, SBS, Sazerac's single barrel release program, is holding a sweepstakes for the chance to select and purchase a barrel of Blanton's Gold bourbon. The Blanton's Gold charity sweepstakes will be open to the public, with proceeds benefiting St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital.
Nice.
The winner of the Blanton's Gold Charity Sweepstakes will receive a VIP behind-the-scenes tour at Buffalo Trace Distillery. Killer. And 7 of their guests. 7. So it will be a VIP behind-the-scenes tour for Cole and Bryan plus 5 Patreon supporters.
Dramhound, you're in there. I don't know why, but for some reason I can't say no to him. Not that he's like pushy or anything. It's just like Dramhound's totally there. That tall, beautiful man.
Yeah, right.
But also some of our other Patreon peeps.
Oh, sure, I guess. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
In addition to the VIP behind-the-scenes tour,
there
alive.
Will be.
Yeah,
I'm worried about him now.
Yeah, we got. If we don't hear back from Dramhound, we're not bringing Dramhound to the VIP tour. I mean, we got to hear back from him yet.
It'll be this sounds terrible, but it'll be like what's the uncle or the
Weekend at Bernie's.
Weekend at Bernie's. Yeah. We're taking Dramhound either way, but God forbid. I hope he's alive.
Oh my gosh. All right. So after you Weekend at Bernie's, the VIP behind the scenes tour at Buffalo Trace Distillery with Dramhound, you will get a private barrel selection experience where the winner will thieve, taste, and select their barrel.
Nice.
Funny that they said thieve. I mean, there was someone recently, was it Dramhound, that was explaining how they thieved a little from their Eagle Rare
might
barrel.
Have been Dramhound because he recently was at Buffalo Trace.
Yeah. $20,000 prize. Oh my gosh, what? Which may be used to purchase personalized bottles yielded from the selected barrel.
That's
what?
Sweet.
There's a $20,000 prize. That's nuts. Private lunch at Buffalo Trace Distillery. Hopefully Freddie not Freddie. No, what's the root beer guy?
Oh, Freddie Johnson.
Freddie Johnson. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I said that. You will also receive the empty barrel if you are so inclined to have an empty barrel.
Heck yeah.
So anyway, here's the stats here. What do you need to know? You need to know that the Blanton's Gold Charity Sweepstakes, it begins on February 12th. Entrants will receive 1 entry into the sweepstakes for every $100 donation made. So hence the money burning.
Oh, so you could throw down like $1,000 and get 10 entries.
Yeah, you absolutely could throw down $1,000.
In my head, listeners, in my head.
Yeah. To enter and make a donation to benefit St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, visit www.sazeracbarrelselect.com/drawing. All entries must be received by February 29. So between February 12 to February 29, get those entries in, $100 each to win this raffle. Cole, are you entering? Yes or no?
So, okay, before I answer that, how many entries do you think there'll be?
Oh, gosh.
Or rather, how much do you think they'll make?
Okay.
I have a feeling they will break $1 million on this.
Oof,
that means 10,000 entries.
So,
because it doesn't need to be one per person. A lot of people are going to throw in like $20,000 hoping that they'll get their money back, basically.
Exactly. So why does that answer matter to you? Does it matter whether you enter at all, or does it matter whether you enter multiple times?
Definitely at all.
Okay.
Because I would only throw down $100, but it would be so cool if I made it through that. But yeah, if I'm going to enter, I'm not going to throw down like $10,000. That's for sure. I'm just going to throw down $100. So I get my name in the ring.
Yeah,
I don't have that money to throw down.
Right. Name in the ring for sure. I'm 100% gonna do $100 donation. Absolutely. Yeah. I gotta get my foot in the door a little bit. I'm not gonna try to have multiple entries or anything, but
if you think about it, it's like me and you might put in $200. Could you imagine what the other people in the whiskey world would throw in? Like, even if there's $100 per person, I think this will, like, if it were limited to one per person, I would say we would make at least $750,000 on this, thing.
Right.
But the fact that you can do multiple, it's going to break 2 million. $2 million. That is.
Yeah, right. But it all benefits St. Jude's, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Which is all for a good cause. And like amazing to see that. But Do I think my chances are good? Not exactly, but they might be better than what I'm getting on the Sazerac Barrel Select program to begin with, which I think will one day pay off. Don't get me wrong.
Hopefully, yeah.
And listeners, if you want a crew to go with, you know who to hit up if you get your name called on the Barrel Select program on Sazerac. Did you get the survey recently where they're like, we'll give you an extra entry?
I might have overlooked the fact that they were
going to give... it was like 2-3 weeks ago. They were like, hey, if you fill out the survey, you'll get an extra entry.
Oh no. I think I did, but I think I just archived it because I didn't see that it was an extra entry deal. Yeah.
That's why you shouldn't archive your emails. Just keep them all in the inbox and read half of them.
Yeah, whatever. I like to keep a clean-ish inbox, but
nice. Well, look where it brought you.
I know, right? Yeah, right. That's what I get for cleaning up too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, listeners, like Cole was saying, SazeracBarrelSelect.com, make an account and at least let it sit there, because you will accrue
talking to you, everyone.
As time goes on, they give you more entries. The longer you've had an account, the more choice or the more entries you have into drawing. So get in there, make an account.
And if you don't think you can afford it, don't worry about it. We got people for that. I mean that. Like we got people for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like $10,000 kind of average ish. We got people for that.
Yeah, for sure.
So
that's it for the Whiskey World News.
Yeah,
moving into what whiskey would you choose?
We got results from last week. Let's cover those results.
Yeah, I got
Bryan,
those.
Hit them.
Last week, what whiskey would you choose? We asked you what whiskey is more fun to display than to drink.
Yeah.
Bryan took the easy road and said Blanton's. Cole said Michter's 10 Rye, and Bryan won 76% to 24%.
Here's the thing, though, is that Blanton's is a single barrel. Michter's 10 is a single barrel. Michter's 10 Rye is a single barrel. But I think there have been better barrels of Michter's 10 Rye easily than there have been of your standard Bland single barrel.
Could not agree more. Yeah.
So like the ones I've had were all right, but Bland's is like always good. You know, it's never bad. I've never had a bad Blanton's standard.
Totally.
Yeah,
like middle of the road Blanton's, and like Michter's will bound that. Michter's will go higher. Michter's will go lower.
Totally. And real high. Apparently last year's was great. 2023. Yeah.
It was last year. I was literally I just said this
I think you said this year. Yeah.
But no, you're right though. 23A. If you have a Michter's 10 bourbon that's a 23A, don't hold on to that. Open it and drink it, because it might be one of the best Michter's 10 bourbons that's ever been released.
Yeah.
And the 2023 Michter's 10 Rye is amazing from what I heard. Breaking Bourbon. Well, I think we mentioned this last episode.
Yeah, they gave it like a 4.5
out of 5 or something.
Oh, did they give it 5?
I can't remember.
It was high, whatever it was. Yeah.
Stupid high. Yeah. We got some write-ins though for what whiskey is more fun to display than drink, and those write-ins. One of them came from Kilted 518, Miles Fergus.
Ayo.
Yeah, I got it right. Yes.
Yeah.
So he says he had already thought Blanton's before Bryan said it. It is the bottle.
Nice.
Whiskey drinking pandas.
That's Joey T, baby.
Like to display Willet Pot Still Reserve. Ooh, we got a write-in from Dimit
Doug. I forget what his last name is, but Doug is his first name.
Demitastes.
Demitaste?
Demitastes.
Ooh, Demitastes. No, crap. That sounds terrible.
Demitastes.
Demitastes.
So we got an Angel's Envy right in from Demitastes.
Yeah, we love you, Doug. Hit us up anytime.
Embellish Pod John Hughes wrote in, says the Thomas More Vampire Coffin bottles
look like fire coffins.
are far better displays than drinks. So I'll be honest, I legit Googled Thomas More Vampire Coffin bottle because I thought it was like a special release.
Oh,
it was like a special
Wait,
vampire.
Have you never seen Thomas S. More or whatever?
I have. I just did not put two and two together.
That's
and
funny.
After I was like image searching like vampire edition Thomas More something,
that's funny.
I finally like put two and two together, and I was like, oh, the normal bottle just looks like a coffin. Marco Inezi wrote in. He says Floki single malt sheep dung smoked. It is a pretty
Did
bottle.
You ever try that?
Have I?
No, did he?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if he's got
It
one or
would
what.
be one of those bottles, though. Don't get me wrong. Even
I
if you didn't
assume
own it.
I assume he's got one, and
Yeah,
it's a cool bottle too. Their marketing's cool. They've got like ancient Nordic symbols
it's
on, like
cool.
witchcraft symbols on their bottles and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
Bunch
pretty
of
sweet.
devil flim flam. Yeah.
Flim flam. What's
You
this?
never heard of that? Bunch of
No.
devil flim flam.
Oh man, no idea. But Bro Ascatestuasa, he says Crown
Heyo.
Royal. He is a bad Canadian, he says, though,
Yeah.
because he's saying Crown Royal. He likes to display that more than drink it.
Yeah.
And lastly, Madtown marketer Ben Klepsig, he says IW Harper 15, which I totally agree is a very pretty bottle. It's old school library
Decanter
bottle.
style. Yeah.
I love that.
Cut
Like
crystal.
the like kind of pointy bubbly texture on the bottle, and then with a nice big topper and everything. That is a pretty bottle for sure.
I like Harper 15, but it's just like, I like the age, but then again, it's 90 proof, so that's the biggest complaint about IW Harper 15.
I didn't know.
It's like
I've never
low
had it.
proof, high age. So
Yeah,
like similar to like a Eagle Rare 17. It's like, it's really good, but it's like,
yeah,
I wish they had a little more oomph.
right.
But I will never say anything bad about Eagle Rare 17.
So. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But this year we are asking you, for what whiskey would you choose? What bottle do you own that has your favorite backstory? And like backstory, like however you acquired it, backstory. But if there was something extra special and fun about it, and that was the reason why you bought it, backstory. So just what is that bottle that has your favorite backstory? And give us personal backstory. Tell us a little bit about what that backstory is. So for me, obviously, I was explaining earlier today, I'm gonna go with the Pocono. The New Zealand vacation that Sam and I went on was trip of our life. Favorite vacation to date. And absolutely, New Zealand is the place to go if you want to go on a fun, exciting outdoor excursion kind of vacation. And this Pocono bottle is going to remind me of that forever.
And she's an islander herself, so you know that's real.
She is.
Was she born on an island?
No, she was born in California, but they soon after, I think from age 6 or so, 4 or so
that's
to
enough.
12. That's when she went and lived on the tiny little island of Kwajalein.
Yeah, that counts. Okay, so like there's a ton of our listeners that already know my answer for this, and the bottle is Eagle Rare 17, specifically the 2015 release. This bottle means everything to me. Like, I have it on my shelf, and I'm not going to go fully into the story, but basically what happened was I wrote a blog. The blog is still online. It's called whiskeygoals.com. You can look into it further. Not looking for people, like, I don't get money off of that website anymore. Never did, really. But I worked very hard to get a bottle of Eagle Rare 17, and it worked out in the end. I was able to get hookups by making relationships and everything like that, and it panned out real good. So Eagle Rare 17 2015 vintage, amazing. So
nice.
That's what I got.
Love it.
Yeah.
What are we drinking next week?
So we're between two next week. Not cheap, just inexpensive. We're going to go between a blended Scotch, and a American whiskey. We're going to go between the new release from Buffalo Trace, which is called Traveler, and it's a American whiskey. It's not a bourbon. It's not a rye. It's an American whiskey. And then we're going to go between that and a Buchanan's 12-year, and that's a blended whiskey, or a blended Scotch rather. So cheap options. You can get them at the liquor store for like $40 or less. So keep an eye out for this Tuesday for Two Pick Tuesday. You'll be able to vote yourself and see what you might want us to do an episode on next week. So that's that, man. I hope our listeners had a fun time figuring out if Barrell Foundation was worth a snag.
Oh yeah. I honestly hope they go for it, because at 55, it is a no regret bottle. So I hope they go ahead and pull that trigger if you were even thinking about it at all.
I agree. If I see a bottle, I'm grabbing it in Virginia, and they do sell Barrell in Virginia, which is good. But I haven't seen a Foundation yet.
Yeah.
But I hope. Yeah. I hope they'll take the risk themselves, and I hope they had a fun time listening to talk about things like seals and sea lions and binomial distributions and things that Cole gets amped about.
Yeah, I hope they're still listening after all that, and I hope that Beck has an okay time at school, and there's no more Bonkgate 2024. No. Yeah,
no more bonkening. But most of all, listeners, I hope that our love of whiskey, swisky, lifted your spirits. Technically, the lotteries in Virginia are much more suited for a binomial distribution. People are dropping off like flies on this. But anyway.